One of my challenges as a physician innovator was that I was in a private practice, sitting in the community, very much at the intersection of where healthcare is being delivered, but also sitting next to the pain points where people had challenges with access to care and not really understanding the path forward. And so, it was intriguing to me that there was actually a community out there that existed of like-minded individuals where, I remember going into the first meeting and with a half-formed idea and feeling like, okay, I'm not going to be shot down at the table with this one. You actually sort of invited me to think through the problem and invited other people to chime in with regards to the problem. And I thought, okay, this is a safe space where we can begin to explore what the opportunities are in gastroenterology. But one thing that was interesting to me about you, Praveen, was I thought initially that you were a gastroenterologist. So my question to you is, how were you even introduced to the field of gastroenterology? Like, why GI?
Yeah, why GI? Yeah, it's an excellent question. Usually, when I give my keynotes, so the disclaimer I put up is that I'm not a gastroenterologist. Yeah, people do assume that I am a GI because I seem to know so much or have points of view about the future and everything. But the interest in GI came because of Next Services, the company that I co-own. I'm one of the co-founders there. And the early opportunities or work involved gastroenterologists. So it's been several years now since I began working with GIs regularly. So they taught me everything that I know about gastroenterology. And that company, the focus is on billing and now more and more AI and automating the back office, front office of GI operations. But at that time, so these interactions with several endoscopists, gastroenterologists, taught me about their concerns and about where they wanted things to go. And that laid the foundation. If I fast forward that story a little bit, like what everybody began knowing me about was private equity in gastroenterology. I don't know if you remember that one. But the reason that happened is I actually asked some of the gastroenterologists that I knew that what would you like to read about? Because I loved writing and I'd write about all kinds of things. And when I asked that, people kept saying, I don't know what to do about this private equity thing. And when I wrote about it, so I hit Wall Street, given my background, which is in MBA. So it wasn't really hard to figure out what the PE companies were doing and were going to do. So I knew that they would copy the formula that they had for dermatology to gastroenterology, and I made certain predictions. And the timing of that book was, I guess, perfect looking back. And that accelerated the platform. So once I had the platform, the book Scope Forward happened that
Mhm.
had all these ideas about the future that I already knew for several years. Many years ago, so this was back in 2012 that I sat in a self-driving car and I saw how that was shaping up and how the auto industry changed. And then I saw even back then that the auto industry had dismissed efforts in the direction of self-driving. And then now here we are where everyone is going in that direction. And that's obviously the future. It's already here, at least in many cities, it's already a reality. So I compared that with what was going on with gastroenterology. There was resistance towards digital biology, non-invasive tests, and people actually hated it. Like, I don't want to name, but you know what I'm talking about. So people had very strong emotional reactions. So I knew there was something else going on. There's something else under the surface. And I put all those ideas together in Scope Forward. And one thing led to another. And after the publication of Scope Forward, I wanted something like really action oriented. I said, if it's a book, people are going to just read it and then forget about it. Most people will not
Mhm.
even completely read a book. I wanted action. I wanted industry wide change to shift in the right direction, to go towards the future more consciously. Like medicine not being about, mindlessly going about it and doctors fearing about their future, patients not trying to find doctors, doctors leaving medicine, all of that. So I just wanted to hit at the heart of it. And that became the premise or the foundation for GI Mastermind. Though I never talked to all of you about why, we were doing this, I dangled the carrot of technology right in front. But once people were in, we had those direct conversations. I think the impact the program left people with was far beyond technology or business. I think it was the deeper stuff that mattered, and that changed gears for many of the participants.